Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our Saturday live question and answer class. Please feel free to leave your questions about American English pronunciation and American accent in the chat at any time. I'll come to them shortly. In the start of class today, I have two topics to discuss. So I did a poll on our community page on the channel about what topics we should cover at the start of class today. And there was a tie between talking about the S versus the Z sound in plurals and also talking about some vowels, like as in man versus men. So we'll look at that as well. You can ask questions about these topics or, of course, any other topic that's useful for you in American English. So first of all, plurals. We have letter S, and letter S can say a lot of different things. So you can use my videos about letters versus sounds and our Sounds of English course to learn about the other sounds that S makes. But today I want to focus on the S making the S sound and the Z sound, specifically when we add it to words for making something plural. So in a word like hats, you can hear that I have a S sound at the end. My hats are in the closet. They wear hats every day. No Z sound there. Versus in the word shoes, my shoes are in the closet, shoes are, you can hear that letter S says the Z sound. I have 10 pairs of shoes. I need new shoes. When I'm just saying the word shoes by itself, I do say a Z sound, but note that it's not a strong Z. I don't want shoes. I don't want to use a lot of Z sound. In fact, sometimes I will say shoes, and it's like a very light S sound. When I'm saying shoes are, my shoes are too big, then as I'm linking, it's definitely a strong Z, shoes are, but I don't need shoes are. I don't need a lot of time on that. I do need my voice on. My shoes are in the closet. When I'm just saying shoes, the difference is that I'm going to be longer and I'm going to just be very light. Shoes, Z, very light, short Z, or light, short S, doesn't matter too much. Versus hats, I have a strong sound. So when S says S in a plural or at the end of the word, it's strong. This is also true in words like when I'm saying yes, I have a strong S, strong sound. If I'm saying was, I have the Z sound or a very short, light S. Not was or was, but was, I was. Same thing though when I'm linking, I was in, then we'll definitely hear that Z sound. So it's a little bit tricky how we do the S and Z. A lot of times when people start trying to use a Z sound on plurals and on the ends of words, they use a strong Z and then it doesn't sound right to them either. You can get more detailed help for when to use S and when to use Z in my video about plurals, and also in our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com. It's going to walk you through the S sound and the Z sound, how they're spelled, which words have which, and how to practice to be able to have this nice light S or connected Z sound for letter Z in plurals. Generally, the rule is when the thing that you're adding the S or Z to, the noun, ends with a T or a P or a K or a F, then you're going to have the sound. Because my voice is off for these sound. Hat, t, there's no voicing. But when the noun ends with a vowel sound or an an a d, a g, many other consonant sounds that are voiced, then my voice is already on. Shoes, then my voice stays on for that letter S to be a Z sound. Again, I break down the rules more carefully and more clearly for you in our course and also in my video about plurals, so do check that out. I have many free lessons on the website as well on speechmodification.com. You can click on the free practice area in the search box, type plurals, and you'll see videos for plurals, word lists, and other assistance for understanding this topic. So thank you for those of you who did vote on the channel page or on the community page. It helps me know what to cover in our class. In addition, of course, we'll mostly be covering your words and your questions today. So let me get to those next. I do also want to spend a little time talking about man and men, the a and eh vowels, because that was also a popular request in our poll on the community page. So we have a question about my email. You can reach me via my website, speechmodification.com, and the email is just Christine@speechmodification.com. And you spell Christine with Chrisistine. Christine@speechmodification.com. You can also leave comments on a video, and I can type out my email for you there if that's easier for you. Okay, we have a question about the word. Are you asking about the word feather, Eddie? You're talking about that it's challenging for you to do words like links, pops, and bats. So all of these, the S's are going to say the sound links, x, because we have the k is voiceless. So usually what I would say for these kinds of plurals is try saying it with and without the S. So if I'm going to say, for link, I can even build with ling, the NG sound, ling, link, and then links, x. You can also hear, just like I did, try to do the KS sound without the rest of the word, k, s, x. So it's basically those sounds come out together, or pops, ps. The PS sounds come out together, so trying pop, pops, ps. I sound funny when I'm just doing the sounds by themselves, but really if you play around with where is it breaking down, can I make those sounds by themselves, that should help you. And then same thing with bat, bats, bats. So the TS, I'm basically stopping the air for the T, bats, and then I'm just releasing into the strong S sound. As I mentioned before, when the S makes the S sound, it's a strong S at the ends of words like that. Okay, and then if I didn't answer your question the way you wanted, Eddie, just follow up with me and let me know. Okay. We have a question about the word harangue. So harangue. Has first syllable stress or second syllable stress, harangue, and this part of the word is silent, so it is just like the word rang, like I rang the bell, and just notice that the tongue lifts in the back for the NG sound, rang. I do have a video about rang and sang, other words with ANG that might be helpful for you. And then the HA at the beginning says the sound. Because it's unstressed, it gets a reduced vowel, harangue. They're going to harangue the producers. Yeah, that was one that's probably, it is difficult to spell and to recognize what sounds it has in the word. So hopefully that helps you. And then you also asked about the word debt. And this one is just be aware that the B is silent in debt, and the letter E says like in red or tent, or in the word dead. So debt and dead are very similar with the same vowel, but debt has the t sound and dead has a longer vowel and the d sound. So she's in debt. I don't want to be in debt. Hopefully that helps you. You can think about a word like red or dead. If that vowel is easy for you, then think about that in the word debt as well. All right, thank you for those requests. Yes, and Eddie was asking about Zlata Filipovich. So I was planning on covering that for you in the members class, but so Zlata, I've seen for the American pronunciation, Zla, zalata, zalata. We might flap that a little bit, zalata. I would say probably for the Serbs, they might say it more like zlata, without this sound there, zlata, zlata. And also they're probably going to do an so where we reduce the to an in an unstressed syllable, zlata or zlata. We might, because we don't have that ZL blend in English. In American English, you're going to have like zalada, and Serbian zlata. I think they have an unaspirated T. Anyway, it's not going to sound like a D. And then Filipovic. So it's Filipovic. The C, the C with the thing on it is a CH sound, Filipovic. I think that's probably the same in American English and in Serbian. In Serbian, they may also be a little bit more like Filipovic, and they might not have diphthong on the O because they don't. But in American English, it would be a little more Filipovic. Zlata Filipovic. Okay, so I will research the Serbian a little bit more carefully, but that gives you the sense of how an American would say that name. Thank you for that request. Okay, we have a question about can the I in I am be reduced to a schwa in casual speech? So if I'm saying I am, the question is, can I say am in casual speech? What I would say is yes, potentially, but most of the time in casual speech, people are going to be saying I'm. They'll change this to a contraction, which sounds like I'm. And then in fast speech, that's what I'm going to do. That's where, yes, it's going to be maybe the I gets reduced to just, that's what I'm going to do. Where it's going to be more of just the vowel. That's what I'm going to do, which could get even further reduced to the schwa. That's what I'm going to do. Yes. So long story short, you're not going to reduce the I and keep the am. The vowel of the am is going to go, and then the I diphthong might get reduced to just the part of it, or might get all the way reduced to a schwa. I'll try to use a few examples, and what I'm going to suggest, I'm thinking I'm using kind of this one or this one. What I'm going to suggest is, after class, come back to this video, and in the settings, you can turn the speed down to 75% or 50%, and then listen as I'm saying I'm in all of these sentences, and listen for what vowel you hear, or I can do that for you and get back to you with some information. But that's how I like to look at it. Oftentimes in fast speech, it's hard for us to hear the exact vowel that someone's using, and when I know about it, I will tell you about the reductions. When I'm uncertain about whether we reduce something, I'll just listen to native speakers, recordings of them. I'll slow it down and listen for what the vowel. So I'm going to research that for you. There I was trying to do. I'm going to see how that works. I think a lot of times if we're starting with I'm or I am, we were going to maybe use a little bit more of a clear vowel. So there's probably a range of different vowels you'll hear when people are using that in fast speech. And in this case, it's not about being casual. It's really about if the word I or the words I am are important or stressed in the sentence, then they won't get reduced. If they're unstressed and unimportant, it's still used in professional, everyday speech. So sometimes people think a contraction is slang or it's only for casual use, and that's not the case. Americans use this in all different professional contexts. They may just not always write with contractions. They might write out I am, but if you say I am, unless you're stressing on it, it's going to sound accented or foreign for native speakers in American English. Great question. Thank you so much. Okay, we have a question about paradox. I'm glad you're here live. You've been asking about this one, and it's on my list, but it's kind of, there's a number of words before you, so now you don't have to wait. So in paradox, we have first syllable stress. Those letters AR say the air diphthong, so you can think of it the same as this kind of pair, a pair of shoes. We also have this kind of pair, like cutting, a paring knife, and this kind of pair, the pair that you eat, but they all have the air diphthong. The stress is on that first syllable, pair, para. So this second A is going to be a schwa sound, para. And then dox, we have secondary stress on the last syllable here. So letter O, just like in box or job, is our ah vowel. So I'll rewrite that here for you with AH. And then the letter X says K and S together in paradox. So paradox, paradox. It's a great word. Thank you for requesting it. And I may still come back to it in my list and make a word of the day about it because I think other people would want to know about paradox as well. Hopefully that helps you clear up your question about that word. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's see what else we have today. We have a question about tranche. So there's the word tranche and the plural. So I have to say, I'm not sure if it's tranche or tranche. If we did it with the French, they wouldn't say that S sound. So I'm going to actually look that up, see if I can find it. Here I'm using my Oxford Learner's Dictionary. I would show you on my, so that you could see as well, but I don't have my tablet handy to show you. So I'm going to look it up. And they have tranche, which I've covered before as the, we have the ah vowel, tranche. Well, they say tranche, tranche. I'm using more of a French vowel on the ah. And then for the plural, they don't have it, so that's not helpful. Let's see if I can find it elsewhere. I can also come back to this for you if I can't find it quickly in my search. The problem with some online dictionaries is they won't show you the plural, which is why I try to include those in my my videos for you. So Google says tranches. So they're saying tranches, which is interesting because tranche is an SH sound. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll trust them for now. Google pronunciation is usually fairly accurate. I will check a few other references for you and get back to you with details. Because it's not 100%. Sometimes I see an error or differences of opinion from different dictionaries and from Google. But so far we have one tranche and two tranches. Sounds kind of weird, but okay, we'll go for it. Thanks for that question. Sorry, I didn't know that off the top of my head. I do research carefully when I'm making Word of the Day videos and my other videos because a lot of times you will find conflicting information on the web, and so going to the origin and having some trusted sources for pronunciation. Hopefully I'm one of your trusted sources, and I have other research and trusted sources that I use to give you thorough and well-researched answers. So thank you for that question. Okay. We have a question about schwa after Z. Yeah, so going back to zlata. When I found American pronunciation, I found zlata. I would say it's okay to say zlata. It's probably just that it's difficult for American speakers to do this, so they probably insert a little schwa in there, zlata. But I think if you say zlata, it's probably more accurate. So it kind of depends on if you want to say it more in an American way or probably closer to accurate for that name. Okay, we have a question about the name Alessa. This one I don't know. So my guess is going to be that it'll be Alessa. But when it comes to names, there are standard names and name pronunciations, but if you know someone with this name, it's always safest to check with that individual person. Or if it's someone famous, again, they may have a different pronunciation. This could be Elisa, Alesa, Alisa. Following the patterns of English, it's going to be Alessa, like we have Alexa, for example. So that's the most likely pronunciation, but if you know someone and you're trying to get their name right, ask them to explain it to you or listen very carefully to how they're saying it. Because if it were a common name that I knew, I could give you a much higher guarantee of a pronunciation. But even then, people with names like mine, like Christine, have a lot of different variants on it, different spellings, different pronunciations. So names can be kind of highly personal, and you want to try to be accurate for that individual person with that particular name. Thank you for that request. Okay, we have a question about the word aim and what is the meaning. So aim is when you are targeting something. So you can aim for a goal. You're trying to reach for a goal. Or you aim your gun at a target. That means you're pointing it in that direction. You can have good aim, you hit your target, or poor aim, you missed your target, both literally and figuratively. So to aim for something can also mean to strive for something or to try to target directly. It has a few different meanings. And the pronunciation, the AI says the A diphthong, which we sometimes spell with AI like in aim or rain, or we also spell with AY like in day or say. So just thinking about aim, it's like the letter A. Thank you, that's a great request. Other words with AIM are claim. Lame is also a rhyming word, but it's spelled with an A and an E. So, okay. Thank you for saying I'm a trusted source. I do try to, I occasionally make errors. I do try to correct those. Some things when you're researching, particularly names, are hard to find because, as I said, there can be a lot of different resources. But generally speaking, there are things that are there's going to be a lot of inaccurate information as well. So I'm doing my best to give you accurate information. Okay, for our last few minutes, let's go back to our other request. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I had a poll this week on the channel asking what people wanted to hear about. We talked about the S and Z sounds. People also wanted to know about man and men, and generally about the vowel a and the vowel eh. I think it's quite hard in these two words for a lot of people because they sound fairly similar. So it's helpful to look at other places where we have the a vowel and the eh vowel. That can help you. For example, using a word like that man, and matching the vowel, they're both a, or when men or 10 men, and matching those vowels can help. Because if I'm trying to do that and 10, I'm probably not going to feel like those vowels are the same. The difference that when we're looking at these vowels is in how low the tongue is and how open the mouth is. So if I have, for example, min, my tongue is very high, my mouth is not very open. Min, men, my tongue is more central, my mouth is a little more open. And then min, men, man, my mouth is the most open for man. The front of my tongue is down. It's against my teeth and it's pushing down in the front. The back of my tongue might still be a little bit lifted. Man. In men, my whole tongue is somewhat flat in my mouth and my mouth isn't as open. And then min, the top of my tongue is lifted up to if this is the roof of my mouth, the top of my tongue is here, men is here, man is more like this. This might not be something you're familiar with, but I talk about it quite a bit in my vowel videos. Getting to feel the shape of the tongue and where the tongue is in the mouth can help you with the vowels. And then again, also recognizing how that vowel tends to be spelled and other words that have that sound. So thinking about cat and that, have and had, versus read and said. Also looking for ways that it's spelled. So this is typically an E and this is typically an A, but we have a lot of exceptions to those rules about spelling. You can get a lot of help for the eh and the ah vowels in my videos about these contrasts and my videos for each of these vowels, both here on the channel and in our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com. I walk through every vowel sound and give you examples of these close pairs like this, how to distinguish them, how to know which vowel is in a word and how to pronounce it correctly. Also what accent error patterns to watch out for. So that course, our Sounds of English course, is a really good resource for understanding a lot of the fundamentals of pronunciation of American English, and it can help you build your confidence to pronounce any word you like confidently and easily in English. So you can check that out on our website, speechmodification.com. All of our online courses are either free or available for under $2, so I keep them very inexpensive and accessible for you so you can use them to help you without it being a big cost to you. Okay, so that's our brief tutorial on man and men and the ah and the eh vowels. Thank you for your feedback in the poll on our community page. I use that community page to post when I have new shorts, upcoming videos, our word of the day, and I'm getting back to doing a few more polls asking for your opinion. You can always leave comments there on the page or on any of our videos because your feedback really does shape what we do for the channel, so we can bring you what you're looking for and help you. Okay, a couple more quick questions and then we'll wrap up for today. We have a question about the sentence, sheriff's office. Okay, so you're asking about the meaning of turn the gun on yourself. Turn the gun on yourself means if someone was shooting and then they turned the gun on themselves, they shot themselves with the gun. So that's if the gun is turned away, there's my gun, it's pointing away, shooting someone else. Turn the gun on yourself means to shoot yourself after shooting out in another direction. So yeah, that's sadly part of what we see in the news frequently. So that's what that means. Okay. We have questions about sentences related to a pharmacy technician's job. I do have a lot of videos about with drug names, so looking for pronunciation of those, you can check out our medical words playlist. And if you have particularly questions about the sentences you have to use for when you're interacting with people, a lot of our videos cover common everyday phrases and sentences. You can leave a more specific request for certain sentences that you have to say a lot if you'd like help for those. And do check out our Sounds of English course and our American Accent 6-week course to help you look at how to build common everyday words that you need for conversational interactions. Thanks so much for being here and for being a part of the channel. Okay, thanks everyone. So nice to see so many of you here today, and they were just great questions. I really enjoyed talking about the topics that you brought up, so thank you everyone for asking. If you're watching this later on and you didn't make it live, you can leave your questions in a comment. I'll follow up with you with resources on our channel and on our website, speechmodification.com, to help you. And of course, you can leave comments throughout the week on all of our Word of the Day videos with questions and requests for me to cover in future classes. I'll be back tomorrow with another Word of the Day, and next Saturday we'll be having not a live class. I'll be out of town, so we'll have a longer class covering a lot of the requests that have come in recently. So I'll see you again live for our live class in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.